Shalom, Elokus Mamish. What does it mean in Chassidus? There's a machlekes that the Kanti holds that the Kelim of Atzilus, the Loshen is B'chinas Bria. Chassidus Bavorens v'leishim B'chinas Bria Mamish Chas v'Sholom. Ki B'lekus Guf is not Chardin of Yeshes. Atzilus is not Chardin of Yeshes. Now, but then, why is it called Bria? It's Bria Sheba Atzilus. So basically here is bringing that although we're saying on one hand that it's Elokus, that one we're saying fakir, that it's a Bria, it's Yesh Me'ayin, it's Shalei V'Ere, he's Savus B'chinas Ein Arei, but it's not to negate the fact that it's Elokus. So what's the explanation? How does it fit both together? If it's Elokus, so how's Ein Arei? Says the Loshen, if we learn the Rikanti simply, he says that the Kelim of Atzilus are a Bria, which means, in other words, it's based on the Machlekes Hakloli, only Yud. The basic general Machlekes, they say that there's an opinion that holds that it's really starts in the Machlekes, the Rambam and the Maharal. The Rambam writes that the Eibishter Hu Yidei v'Amadav Hu Yidua. The Maharal screams, how can you say such a thing about the Eibishter? You know the Eibishter is a Kodesh Baruch Hu, V'lei HaSeichel Baruch Hu, that the Eibishter you can't define. By saying the Eibishter Hu Yidei v'Amadav Hu Yidua, you're defining the Eibishter, and the Eibishter is beyond anything. What's the Machlekes? What are they arguing about? So the Rambam didn't think to say that the Eibishter is a Geder Miyuchat. He also didn't say, he says, Hu Amadav Hu Yidei is beyond our, we can't grasp such a thing, where the person himself becomes an Uchad with his Deya. He becomes one of the things he knows. So what's the Rambam saying? What's the Machlekes? What's the two study Pashtas? The Rambam is saying that the Eibishter is all-inclusive. If there's any mile, any advantage in a Nivre, there's anything existing, the Eibishter has it. And the Eibishter has it on an ultimate way, on the infinite way. Which means, when everything is defined to what it is and it can't mingle with other things, means it's mugbal. But by the Eibishter, everything is united, it's one unit. It's one unit which encompasses everything. He's so complete, the mainly is Keil Hakir. Surely that's the pasuk we say, Ki mimcho hakel. Everything comes from the Eibishter. If there's something in the world, there's a tchun in the world, it's coming from the Eibishter. By the Eibishter, it's the ultimate way. It's chakim v'lo b'chochmi yediyah, anto mevim v'lo b'vini yediyah. But by the Eibishter, it's the ultimate level. And the Maharal says, I will give a morsel for to see what does it mean that you have everything in ultimate level, and therefore they can all be united. You have an example like the Mon. The Mon, they had all the tastes in the Mon. That was the Mon. The Mon encompassed in itself all the different tastes. You wanted to taste whatever you wanted, you could taste in it. How is it? How could it be possible that you have all tastes, opposite taste, sweet, bitter? Obviously, they weren't there in a murgishtik way. It wasn't in a felt way. You chose which thing you want to bring out. That was the one. It encompassed everything, but not in a. It's not that you could say till here it's sweet and then here starts the bitter, and then it's not different parts in it. Every part had everything. It was chatchila bilti mugdal, bilti mugdal, encompasses everything. Or if you like, it's al the of water. Right? The person, the source for any pleasure in the world is connected with water. Even though you learn in Tanya, it's just mashma mayim matzmichim kol mini tainuk. All the fruit comes from water, which in Al Rebbe it's Shulchan Aruch, that you say in Bein Forshas Rabbis v'chasreinon, then there Al Kol Moshe Brasa, then there's lahachis be'em nefesh kol choy. There's the inyonim that are hadover hamuchrich, like chit or seira. Then there is dvarim l'shaltainuk, like le'idu n'lotainuk, like moshel peiris. So peiris are coming from water. They bepashtis landman. First of all, everything is connected with Tainik. Any Dvar Meichel, if we're speaking about the idea of Matzmichim, the Mittel Rebbe, the whole Arichas about it, that really any experience of Tainu is connected with Lachluchas. Has to be a lachuchas over there. Without it doesn't work. Whether it's a lachuchas ruchnis, lachuchas gashmis. The idea of tainug is we say something is truk and something is dry. It's talking yishmak, something is juicy. It's like yishmak azach. It's loshen b'nei yodam, but it's nishtalshel because ba'amitis. That's the shadish of the word. The shadish of any. Fine. We might it's a moshel for this to see that you have everything in it. And inside the echad, you could say that the water, if someone's not thirsty, it says in loche, sheisa mayim, and you're not thirsty, you don't have to make a bracha. Dafka sheisa mayim with smoy, he says shakal nibit vori. Here also is dafka and water, we say whatever, it's not just water, it's anything else, shakal, fine. But the idea that on one hand you say if you're not thirsty, there's no time to water. Why would I drink water just like that? But if I'm with smoy, if someone's thirsty, adrab, a person finds that water is the best drink when you're thirsty. It's better than any other tasting drink. Water is the best. Why is it? Because be'emes it's moker kol tanugim. Therefore, in a way, it's mufshut from al tanugim. You can have a state that you're not interested in it because it's not really come down to tanugim. But mitzad sheni or mitzad zeguf, this is the moker. That's why everything other pleasure comes from it. Because it's poshut. Therefore, it could come down to every different pleasure that comes out of it. You'll say, that the Ram was saying, "Who amad? What you do? Everything encompassed because it's beyond description. Everything is there." So what's the Maral screaming? What's he gefährlich? He's making the Ibshe very great. But the Maral says, no. You can't say this is the Ibishte that he has all these advantages. This is not godliness. The Eibishter is not about Shlemiyis, Milas. That's not the Eibishter. Milas is a creation. The Eibishter created Milas. Milas, the whole idea of Milas, is a breed that the Eibishter made. The Eibishter is not tight that he has to have all Milas, this Milas, the other Milas. The Eibishter is beyond Milas. The whole Milas is the Eibishter is a Kodesh. He's moved. You can ask the question, how could he have all the Milas? So that he said, Adrabe, because the Eibush is Posha B'tachas HaPshitus, because the Eibush is beyond definition, therefore the Eibush L'Yugdar B'Shum Geder, he cannot be defined with any description, therefore anything he could create and make anything happen, but not that that's him. Don't define him by the milas he makes. He's beyond description, anything could be made by him. In other words, what she's saying is that the spheres and the different tchunas is all pu'ulis, so to speak, of the Eibush. It's not him. The Eibush is moved from any description. But then he makes things happen. Things come out from his mehave, so to speak. So if you learn very raw this Maharal without Chassidus, it's as if he's saying that all the spheres is like pu'ulis. The Eibishter is a kabel, like he makes a table. No one's going to say a person making a table, that's him, he's a table. He'll say by the Eibishter, he has a keich for it. He's not described, but he can't make all these pu'ulis. He could have chesed, he could have rachamim, he could have chochmeh, but that's not him. Basically, this is a source, the way it's in the Ram Maral, this idea, which came out later in Kabbalah, it's also the same idea, the machlek is how to look at Kelim. Or we say Kelim is Gili Ahelam, it's revealing milas of Elokus Gufa. Or we say no, Kelim is not him, it's something other than him. The way the Mekabolim say this, the Lashon they use, that it's Bria. It's Bria. The Kelim are creation. He created, it's not him. It's the same idea, the Rambam and the Maral. What do you say, Mimcho HaKel? Or you say, and the violation you see, the Eibush, everything comes from him? Or the Eibush is Tachas HaShleimus? Or different, they describe the Eibush is Tachas HaPshitus. You can't define him. And that's what we said, and the violation is the Eibush doesn't change, and any Tchuna, any Midde, any Chochmah is a change. In addition to him, he's Nisayre, not Nisayre, Mischakim, Einim Mischakim. The whole thing is a Shiur, it's a definition. The Eibush is beyond definition. So, if we learn like this without Chassidus, we would think that the Kelim of Atzilus are a creation. Comes Chassidus and tells us, Chas v'Shalom, to say that he meant to say that it's a Bria. The Eibush had to create outside of him. It's a Inyan Eliki, no question. Never then. There's two ways to look at Kelim. Or you could say Kelim is revealing the advantages, so to speak, of Elokus. Or you say the Eibush is so great that if he wants, he could hide himself. He could put himself in hiding. He could not reveal himself the way he is, and that guf is a keich aliki, that he is not revealing himself. That is Ayin aliki. Just like you say the tzaddik nista, the fact that he hides at tzidkus, it's not a pshat that he's not a tzaddik now. In the nista shabei, this is a way that he, so to speak, he expresses his tzidkus even in heipach hagili. And their guf is alakus, and this tnu is eichet alakus. So this is it. On one hand, if I look at the action, I'll say it's ein areich, it's not expressing him. But be'elam, even this is also an expression of the Eibishter. It's not the gili dikaway. That's what he says over here. Hagam de be'em is gam ha'kelim da atzilus im b'chinas atzilus, which means an emanation, it's a revelation of self. It's not other than himself. Sha'arei heim elokus mamish mikol mokeim. B'chinas alakus de kelim ein ze b'chinas ispashtus elika. It's not an expression of the way he is. He's not revealing his essence, his Ein Sof. He comes and distance of himself, that you don't see him, but it's him coming in a distant way. He's letting himself be known, being known in a way of Chochmah, in a way of Chesed. Not to say that it's not him. It's Eralin Losichen. He could become this way too. He could put himself in this too. And this he gives a few mashalim. You see that it's part of the thing itself, although you don't see the thing in it at all. It's in a way, in a certain aspect, it's separate. He could make a mistake and not see the source where it's coming from. Okay, he gives a few two dugmois, I think. Okay, like a spark that separates from the torch. It is fire. Where is it coming from? It's not that he created something out of himself. It's part of him. Still, you focus on this, you don't see the avuke. It doesn't shine, you can't read the light of it. Why? Because it's not revealed, it doesn't express what it really is. It's it, but not in an expressed way. Say the Kalim, it's him, it's a lakus, but it's not the gal the way he is. We can make
different drivers of expression.
Yeah, or of non-expression. Not ultimate expression.
There's different levels.
For us, Kalim Batzil's, we say Kalim Batzil's nice and air, becomes Eiris in Bia.
Right.
But Legabi, Lakus, Atzil, the way these, they could have had the Lakus Neifim of Pshit is beyond description. Now starting to see Kalim, that descriptions, that's Ayin of Ischatshas, that's Ayin of Ein Areich, it's Richuk, it's Avdolah. Even though that it's also him.
There's a certain expression. The expression is taking place in a gevul.
Right. And the Yachas to Bligvul, it's Richut.
Gvul b'yachas to Bligvul.
Yeah, okay.
For us, we're saying this is this is paradise. Those are the best thing we could ever enjoy. That's for Biyad. This is Eir. This is Pshittis. Mitzad Mekabel, this is the ultimate Pshittis. But in Al Kuz Gufe,
but does the Bligvul actually express the Eibusher? Also not.
But what you see, of course, eventually that's what Kalim...
It's obviously greater Gilui to some extent, or whatever you want to call it. But the Bligvul is no more an expression for the Eibusher than the Gvul.
Yeah.
Because he's above both of them.
True. But the thing is, it's the question asked, what pshat ve'daito ayim yisrael alecha ki havaye hu holikim. You should always remember and know that havaye hu holikim. Don't focus on the gvul and think that it's limited. It's connect with the bligvul. Connect with the bligvul of the Eibishter. The pshitz of the Eibishter is so great, it could also make limitations. It's only coming to us the way we could handle it. That's what we always say. Havaye hu holikim. Why do we have to say that? Amos, say Elikim is the Eibishter.
Because in our mind, or in our perception, in the Bligvul hetman on Elokus, and then in the Gvul hetman nisht on Elokus. That's all. But but in the real truth of things,
so if it's this gal, the shirish of the Gvul, Yemel Teretzel Be'etzen, that they're Beshove, or maybe Gvul is even higher. But the pashtus. What do you mean?
Even though it says, it's the schwer zu sagen, das Gevul ist hecher. Da besteht ja schon mehr Kunst.
the Lashon steht das in sagen. You're saying what's the Havana, and at the end of the day everything is equal, fine. But that end of the day, who's Megal, that end of the day, it's thanks to Gvul. What Gvul tells the Eivisha beyond any description. So then at the end of the day, everything is expression of the Eivisha beyond any description. So what is it saying? Eventually, what it says when Mashiach comes, we're going to realize that the mile of Helam, now Helam is a problem. We can't digest
Look at it as
it's an issue. It's a Helam. It's a Helam. Would much rather be Bli Gvul. Bli Gvul is a negative. To be able to realize that really Gvul is Tachlis Abit of the Eibishter's L'mayla Mikol Gvul doesn't have to express himself. That's already, like you're saying, that Gvul itself, our perception, which really our perception has a source L'mayla. Again, let's not fool us that we're the ones that have created this perception. The fact that we see it this way is because that's the way it started off. That is it's not expressed in the Eibush, the Pshittis. When we see Chesed, we don't say Pshittis, we say Chesed. But then there's the bittul of the keli, and then realize that it's not all it, and it's yearning for more, and it's megal the eir, and the eir itself knows where the keli is coming from. That's all. The eir is megal the keli. You know who you are. You think you're only a keli. Really, you're a bittul of the mekeda the kula, which is lamayla from eris, and therefore the eir feels it's going to gain by coming to the keli. Well, everyone knows this. Yeah, let's explain the Chassidus banichas.
The spheres themselves. It says esos spheres blima compared to the kelim.
Even the
so now compare that then just compare the kelim. Now compare that to the esos spheres of gnuzos, and then or in soif, and then ein soif, and then atzmos. So even the spheres have this union of not being complete pshitos.
The spheres, you mean the air?
Spheres. Esospheres.
Esospheres is a unit of two. Air is the keli. You're regarding the air or the keli?
I mean, so when we say esospheres, what are we talking about?
Air is the keli. There's no such thing spheres.
Okay, fine. So
spheres in air, spheres in keli.
Okay, fine. So, okay.
But
what is esospheres of gnuzos? What does that mean?
Esospheres of gnuzos is the sherish of the spheres. And sometimes that's the sherish of kelim, or it's the sherish of air. This is already there's a whole discussion. Of course, everything originates b'sheshem mekeri arishin lifnat tzimtzum, the way the Eibush to the any mugable and melee can make anything. But before we get off topic, and the kul over here is saying that when you see the gvul, you don't automatically trace it back to shorish arishin, and that's what tzimtzum accomplished. In the shorish arishin, like you're saying, what's keich gvul? Keichei b'gvul. That the Eibush to the ein sof. Shleimus of the Gula could express itself, and that's the Teichen of the Gvul. The Teichen of the Gvul, the Shleimus Ein Sof. If that would be present in Atzilus, Atzilus wouldn't be Atzilus. Atzilus would be Lifnei Tzimtzum. Atzilus would realize, what am I? Expression of Ein Sof. What's that expression of Ein Sof? What's that Ein Sof? He's not defined. Anything could be, and that's what I am. And that's my mitzvah. What's that? Lifnei Tzimtzum. It's kol b'atzmos. It's included. What's that? It's included. It's in a space. You put it in a box over there. What is that? Kol. It's written dargos ruchlis. Don't bokum azman. If it's kol means it's bedargosi. It's in that way of living. That the Sfiras Guf are realizing, or what to say, by them is begolui, that what's their being at klikat. They don't even feel themselves. What's them? It's expression of the Ein Sof of the Eibishter. So you look at them, you don't see them. You see Ein Sof. The only reason why I could not see the Ein Sof Shabbat, that's the uft of Tzimtzum. That's because I don't see that it's Keichei B'Gvul. I don't see it's Keichei Ein Sof for Gvul. And how did that come about? First of Helam O'er, and from Keichei Gvul Guf, it's an Eifon of Avdolah. It's not revealing himself. It's a negative thing at the end of the day. Now we're saying this negative, this Helam, Keichei B'Gvul, it's Shorshei Hecher, Shorshei B'Seim, it's Ein Sof Kshem Shesh L'Keich. Das Shin. In order to realize that, that's Eir's job. This approach to look at Gvul and say, really, it's not Gvul. That's Havai Yehulikim. Havai is Megale. Look at the emes of Gvul. Don't take Gvul the way it looks like. Gvul is really a bit of the Ein Sof. The Eibush is so Ein Sof, and if the Eibush is Ein Sof, I have to have an answer to the question: how did Gvul come about? If the Eibush is Ein Sof, if you come to Hagbole, the Eibush is Ein Sof bli Gvul. Well, how do I relate to Gvul? How do I see? If Gvul itself says Kilu, won't say the Eibush is Keichei B'Gvul. There's an in Gvul, which really, even the Avedis HaKedesh, which says the Ein Sof Shlemusa the Kul Eibush is the ultimate completion. Kshem sheyesh l'keich b'bilti b'Gvul, kach yesh l'keich b'Gvul. In the time when he said this statement, people were very unhappy. because they translate it not like the way we learn in Chassidus. Because you seemingly hear what he said, it means that the Eibusha has limited energies. Was heißt this? As we know, you want to make limitation, you have to have a limited energy. How can you say this about the Eibusha's limitation? The Eibusha's Ein Sof Bli Gvul. What's from Chassidus? Shem, Kach. What is this? No. Ein Sof is Ein Sof Bli Gvul. You want to have the things Hagbolas. It's not him. It's him not expressing himself. To say Kshem Shia that he has an inyan in it. What's the mile of a mile of Gvul?
It's a bria.
It's a bria, they said, right? They mentioned before the Rekanti, Taka says about, good, that's another question how the Rekanti fits with Avedas HaKedesh, but he says the Loshen that it's a bria. It's not him, like the Maral says. It's Puleisov. He acted it, but that's not him. That's not who he is. Therefore,
We disagree with all these guys.
of course, takes their Mailen that eventually they just wanted to bring out that it's not Bitu, it's not Giluyav the Eibishter. It's the Eibishter hiding himself. If you learn dry, we mentioned before, if you learn dry the Rikanti Bri, you think, oh, the Eibishter is not him, it's not godly, it's Zulas. And the Eibishter can make anything. The Eibishter creates anything that he wants, a Dover Mugbul. But to say that it's him, you can't say. But that comes Chassidus and said, Chaz v'sholom that the Rikanti meant to say it's a Bri. Chaz v'sholom to say that it's a Bri. Ki l'shayach klal b'atzilus, the whole idea of Metzius, otherness, is not shayach in Atzilus. It doesn't belong in Atzilus. If it's other, it's Dasokta. If ain't a shayach in, that's not a lakus. It doesn't have in a lakus, in Atzilus, you're putting something that's not in. That's Bri. That's already in the world. In Atzilus Guver, the Dargas Atzilus means it is godly. Akaponim, so that's what came to conclusion. What does it really the Avedas HaKedesh mean? Not that the Eibush has limited powers. That ultimately is the Eibish's Ein Sof, and it's an expression of his Shleimis. And Kodbechlal, if you learn the Pashas, what is he saying? That's Kshem Shesh Laker Bebilte Bagvul Kash Laker Begvul. We asked the other time, what's the advantage in having Agbol if he's Bli Gvul? What is the advantage of not being